Hello, 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 show with no namers. Can I get an amen? Now, how about a hallelujah? That's what I'm talking about. It's show with no name time. Time for liftoff.
T-minus 10, 9,
Let's
8,
go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Let's get going. Come on, come on, come on. Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go. Welcome, amigos. Time for another exciting edition. We are pushing through the week. We're going to get there slowly but surely. I think you say sin prisa, sin pausa. Slowly but surely. And you know that joke about Shirley? It's one of the most famous movie jokes ever. And it's from the movie Airplane. You call it Aterriza como puedas. And they say it's a running joke, a running gag. That means que es recurrente, que pasa varias veces. And I don't remember the exact line. He says, well, we've got to land this plane and right away. Tenemos que aterrizar este avión y cuanto antes. And then he says, Stryker, the guy who's supposed to land the plane, the passenger, says, surely you can't be serious. And he says, I am serious. And don't call me Shirley. And then later in the show, he says again, Shirley, tal. And he says again, stop calling me Shirley. So you get it? Surely. When we say it quickly, Shirley. It sounds like a woman's name, Shirley. Like Shirley MacLaine. It's one of the greatest movie jokes because people use it. When someone says to me, Shirley, you must be kidding. I'm like, I'm not kidding. And don't call me Shirley. And this is exactly why I insist on you guys watching those classics, especially those comedy classics with puns, juegos de palabras, in their original version.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right. Go to grupovon.com or follow us on social media. And this way you'll know about all our upcoming events and initiatives. All right, folks, are you ready for today's pop quiz? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. Welcome to our pop quiz here on the show with no name. And as you know, we've got materials for everyone. Doesn't matter what you like, doesn't matter what you need, I should say. Maybe you need to work on your basic grammar structures. Maybe you need to enrich your vocabulary. Maybe you need to practice listening more, because you still get lost once things get a little bit out of the English class, because sure, you're thinking, well, in my English class, I understand everything. Well, sure, because it's not like a political debate, or it's not some kind of, speech or explanation of, molecular biology, for example. So that's the thing. How much can you understand out of your safe space, your safe environment? Because, if you say, I understand my English teacher, that's good. That's a good first step. But remember, there are many other people speaking the language, many other cadences, many other rhythms, many other, accents, as we hear every day on our Say What soundbite. And even here at Vaughn, we have so many different teachers from so many different walks of life. You say condiciones sociales. So we've got so many different teachers from so many walks of life. And I think everywhere you look in the Vaughn sphere, la Vaughan esfera, you've got variety. You've got variety in your programs here on Vaughn Radio. You've got variety in the materials we offer and also in the courses. And you've got something for everyone. So whether you're looking for something for the kids this summer, which you'd better hurry up if that's what you're looking for, because, well, this is nothing new here. No es nada nuevo. Our summer camps always fill up quickly and spots are going. So if you are interested in any of those things, don't sleep on it, como decimos. You say consultarlo con la almohada. Don't sleep on it, guys. Because, well, you don't get that opportunity again. Well, then you have to wait till next year, because the spots we have are the spots we have. It's not like we can, all right, let's add another teacher. Here, we can't do that kind of stuff. Sometimes we can do that stuff when we're organizing, classes at our offices. It's a little easier. But once you've got something where you've got your camp counselors, you've got everything all lined up, you can't do that. And summer camps and all those things, those are precise examples of where once it's gone, it's gone. As we say in English, first come, first served. I love that expression. Los primeros que llegan son los primeros que quedan. O viene a decir que si no llegas a tiempo, a lo mejor no queda nada. First come, first served. Oh, there's my alarm. I guess that's telling me I need to start off with our pop quiz. All right. Well, today's pop quiz comes straight from one of my books, one of my 5 books. I can't believe it. I have 5 books, and this one is from the 3rd book I've written. It's from the 2nd book in what we call the Milk Trilogy, but it is from my 3rd book ever written. It's called This Book is the Milk Too. And again, if you like the way I teach here, same vibes in all of my books. The first book is called English Everywhere. I take you to 40 different situations / places, and I show you vocabulary, common expressions, common mistakes, things to look out for. And as with all our materials, it comes with audio. So let's listen to this little audio clip from This Book is the Milk Too. And as always, I'll have some questions for you afterwards.
Damian, I remember when we first met, you showed me some of your sketches and I was busting a gut. I was cracking up, partiéndome el culo de risa.
you did those infomercials, those funny infomercials with Juan.
Oh, yeah, la teletienda.
Yeah.
Infomercials. Son como comerciales de información, ¿no?
Yeah, información
Infomercials.
de su producto, no de,
Yeah.
de interés.
The home shopping. Yeah. Hola, Juan. ¿Qué tal? Bienvenido.
Did you know I used to peddle laptops? To peddle, otra forma de decir vender laptops.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
I used to do the teletienda. I'll share the video
Oh.
with you guys if you want.
Yeah, I've seen that. I remember
El
now.
HP Pavilion.
Yeah, HP Pavilion.
And they were like, ¿puedes ser un poco más giddy? And I was like, okay.
More.
Esto es genial. Tiene wifi en todas partes.
That's what they wanted, right? They wanted you to speak with an accent.
Yeah. And then we had it. We had a little problem because I go, y ahora puedes consultar tu email. And the woman says, corta, cut. She goes, it's email. I go, no, it's not.
No, it's not. You want me to be more giddy, right?
I go, it's not email. I'm like, it's correo electrónico if you want me to say it in Spanish.
But yeah.
Se cayó. I'm like, don't tell me how to say it in English. But if you want, I'll say it in Spanish.
Yeah. But imagine it's like as if you said, by ferry. Nobody would understand.
Yeah.
You want to say fighty. Otherwise, people won't understand it.
That's important too.
We
I
always have
guess.
that problem in El Hormiguero when
Yeah.
they want to show something.
Mhm.
And we always have to ask them, how do you want us to pronounce it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, things are pronounced differently. They even change the titles of things. Look at Moana, you know,
yeah.
or certain cars. Mira, el Chevy Nova.
Yeah.
El Chevy Nova no va a vender en español.
Yeah, no suena bien. No, esto no va bien.
See
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's really important naming
Mm.
products. I love the Whisper XL and then
Yeah.
Whisper XL.
Ese que era un audífono que te ponías y podías oír una aguja a kilómetros de
ujú.
distancia.
A hearing aid.
A
Una
hearing
ayuda de
aid.
audición. A hearing
Ayuda.
aid.
Yes, sir.
Right? So whisper. And I love that word because it's onomatopoeic.
Yeah.
Whisper.
Whisper. Yeah. It sounds like whisper. Yeah, absolutely. And then you have the horse whisperer.
The horse whisperer, the dog whisperer, Caesar Milan,
El hombre,
César Millán.
el hombre que susurraba a los caballos.
Sure, it's a very common thing to hear now.
Mm.
People who talk to animals and connect with them are whisperers. And one of my favorite ones is the nicer dicer.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
nicer.
However you slice it or dice it, this was a useful product. ¿Viste lo que hice ahí?
A ver, explícalo.
Okay, so the nicer dicer. Ahora vamos a explicar eso, pero la expresión es however you slice it or dice it. Pongas como lo pongas.
Ah,
O sea, como lo troceas, como lo dices, cortar en dados.
en dados, ya, a taquito.
So, la expresión however you slice it, también se puede decir however you slice it a secas. Pero si queremos añadir énfasis, however you slice it or dice it.
Mm,
Y es frase perfecta de teletienda, ¿no?
ajá. Así que tiene de juego de palabras, ¿eh? El nicer dicer.
Yeah, no,
Claro.
eso es clave. As I said, you know, I always think about these slogans, these mottos, these product names. How many people you think there are sitting around a table saying, no, la palabra debería ser esta? I mean, you know, these creative types.
Yeah, it takes long to come up with a good name.
3 lines of script, and you're like, yeah, but that gives the impression. So wording is very important.
Yeah, communicating the
Mhm.
advantages of this product or the other. It's not that easy. You need a
Right.
briefing.
It's the way something sounds as well. Like, por eso el grupo Led Zeppelin, lead se escribe plomo, L-E-A-D. Sin embargo, también en inglés es to lead, llevar o guiar.
Mhm.
Entonces, no querían que la gente, antes de que fueran famosos, dijeran Led Zeppelin. Porque sin el contexto, lead puede ser así. Entonces dijeron, ok, ya está. Led, L-E-D.
Yeah.
Aunque es el pasado de lead, no tiene nada que ver con plomo como debería ser. So,
Mhm.
sometimes groups have changed their names, you know, have used incorrect English
Mm.
so that people don't get mixed up, para que no se confunda la gente. So product naming, branding se dice siempre ahora.
Branding. Claro, branding, marca.
Yeah, a
marca.
brand is,
Mm.
y brand is where does it come from? Look at the cows.
Yeah.
Pondrían
Ponen
su
la
marca.
marca, el
El-
sello.
Yeah, el sello, con el calor. They did it with a branding iron.
Ah.
That's where it comes from. The brand. That's my cow. That's my
Yeah.
brand.
But what's the other meaning of brand?
marcar con
Marcar, yeah,
algo
con el hierro,
caliente.
no?
No, tú me dices a
Yeah.
mí. You're the Spanish
It's el
guy.
hierro
but-
de marcar, yeah.
So
It comes
marcar con
from
hierro.
cows, yeah.
Yeah. So we can learn. Holy cow, we're learning from cows.
Holy cow.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. Vaughntown, one of our star initiatives. Vaughntown will not just change your perspective on English, it'll change your life. I know what you're thinking. Alberto, aren't you overstating it a bit? Right? To overstate means to exaggerate. Right? State is declarar. So if you're overstating it, you're exaggerating it. No, I am not exaggerating at all. I promise you. It is a life-changing event. It is a turning point in many people's English journey and even in their life journey. Because, well, just think about it. How often do you do something like that? You know, where you're like, I'm going to go away for 5 days to a week. I'm going to go leave my comfort zone, be with all new people who I know nobody there. Conozco a nadie. You can say, I don't know anybody or I know nobody. Lo que no podemos hacer, evidentemente, es doble negar. So you're literally, just with that, take out the English part. Just that. I mean, that's not your typical week, is it? Going into the jungle. Actually, it's not a jungle. It's beautiful, scenic places. In fact, that was done on purpose. When Richard Vaughan was organizing the first ones, he goes, they need a place that is, that at least there aren't any distractions. So what they did is they started looking for more remote places that were easily connected to major city centers. So this way you get the best of both worlds. You can get there easily, but at the same time, without all the distractions, without all the hustle and bustle, el ajetreo, el movimiento, the hustle and bustle of big cities. And the same way you use majestic when you use mountains. When we talk about mountains, majestic is the word. Well, when we talk about busy cities, we talk about hustle and bustle. Es que hay ciertos adjetivos que siempre vas a ver con ciertos sustantivos, right? And if you know it, then you know. When we talk about memories, you can say this brings back good memories. That's not incorrect. But the one we use with memories is fond. So it's good to look at these, maybe I would call them collocations, you can call them, or sets of words that, like Greece, they go together like rama, lama, lama, lama. So this is an excerpt that we just heard from. This book is The Milk Too. I've got it here in my hand. In fact, as you guys know, I have the whole Vaughan collection. Not all of them. Some of them I just have on PDF, but most of them, especially mine, I've got the actual book. And I've got to say, PDF is great. What a great option. You know, I can have 50 books in my pocket on a PDF document, right? but there's something about having that book in your hand. Am I right or am I right? Do we have any bookworms with us? I mean, it's like watching a movie at home, especially like an action movie. You can watch an action movie at home, and believe me, we've got not myself, but I know some friends who have some seriously big screens, pantallazos, and they've got great sound and all that. But I don't care. It's still not the movies, right? Because it's the whole experience too. It's getting there. It's getting your popcorn, whatever your rituals are. There is no substitute. And I feel the same with a book. Like, yeah, you can read your phone all day. You can read articles on your phone, your tablet. But there's something about, your fingers on the page and, experiencing it. I feel like we live in a world right now where there's a lot of stuff that's intangible. Okay. Is that the word? Is it untangible? I think it's intangible. Mira, estoy dudando de mi idioma aquí. Intangible, si no me equivoco. Intangible. A ver. Yes. Intangible is the word. Well, sometimes, right? All right. So, as I said, you've got the book. You've got this and every book over at Von Tienda. You can also get them delivered to your house, or you can stop by in person if you'd like. As you know, we've got offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, and Zaragoza. And we were just hearing something from La Teletienda de los Horrores. And what we did here is we took products that you probably saw on TV, como va the marketing line, as seen on TV, como se ha visto en la tele. And you've got everything from your Whisper XL. And as we said, whisper, it sounds like what it is. Whisper, whisper. The nicer dicer, right? What else have we got? The Easy Fix pen, right? What else? Pelipista. And then we've got La Lógica del Inglés. I love that one. All right. So if you do you guys remember how you said audífono? It's a logical word in English. Hearing, de audición, de escuchar. Hearing aid, ayuda para escuchar. So I'll tell you what, guys, this is a little trick you can do too. When you don't know a word in English, just describe what it does. And sometimes that's the word. It doesn't always work like that, but sometimes that's exactly the word you were looking for. So with English, you gotta be brave, right? You gotta be courageous. You've gotta be brave, valiente. And if people don't understand, you'll know. You'll know in 1 second. And how will you know? The look, the confused look. No falla, esa mirada de, I don't know what you're saying to me. And some people are really good at pretending, fingiendo que te entienden, but usually if someone's like not following along, and that's no problem, guys. That happens when native speakers speak sometimes too. It's like, I don't know what this guy's on about. No me estoy enterando de lo que. And it could be because that person's not even expressing themselves. What do you think? Everybody expresses themselves clearly? Think about your circle in Spanish. Do all of your friends and family members express themselves with clarity? I doubt it, because the norm is most people don't. Right? You have to learn how to express yourself. And it's not easy because first you got to learn to identify what you feel and then convey that, transmitirlo a otra gente. Easier said than done. Entre el dicho y el hecho hay un trecho. All right, well, let's take a look at the vocabulary I want to see if you know in today's pop quiz. Again, if you have my books, then you might have already studied these things, whether it's in this book is The Milk 2, English Everywhere. But as I said, if you like the way I teach here, and that's the best way to sell my books, if you like these classes, well, that's exactly how I teach, with a little bit of humor. As you see, we're using pop culture from the commercials, the infomercials, as we call them. You call them teletienda. And that was based on a true story. I really did sell HP pavilions. Yeah. I got to find it. Or maybe I'll share it with you guys. I think I put it on YouTube. Either way, remind me and I'll share it with you. And I purposely had to dumb down my Spanish, hacer que mi español fuera un poco menos nativo. So imagine that. Well, hey, think about it. Accents are, I tell students too, that I had a student, I just can't get rid of my accent. And then I said 3 words. I said, accents are sexy. And the student said, yeah. I go, hey, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Now prepare to die. Well, hey, it's true. Not all accents, but a Spanish accent? So, hey, if you've tried and you can't, then put on your Spanish accent like Antonio Banderas. Folks, we'll be right back with much more, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 2. I can't believe part 1 flew by so quickly. And I'm taking a look at the script right now, and boy, madre mia, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. We still have to take a look at our pop quiz. In fact, let me give you those now. Así vamos avanzando. Your pop quiz today. The first one. Well, we said he was cracking up. Se estaba partiendo. I want you to give me another way of saying you were laughing really hard. There are many ways to say it. Choose one. So use it in context, as we always do. Nos estábamos partiendo. I just gave you to crack up. So give me a different one. And I gave you, we were laughing really hard. But there are other ways, and some are even acronyms. So the first one, nos estábamos partiendo el culo. Use your own example. The next one, I want you to give me some specific stuff, since we were talking about some of these internet symbols. The second one, I want you to give me arroba. Write them out. Escríbelos en inglés. Arroba, guión bajo, punto, and barra. All right? I want all 4 of them. This one, you don't have to put them in a sentence. Don't worry, okay? I just want to make sure you know these very, very important symbols. So the second one is arroba, guión bajo, punto, y barra. You can write out the full word. And the last one is a totally native idiomatic expression. That means pongas, como lo pongas. You heard it in the audio. So there you go, folks. Those are your pop quiz challenges today. Number one, tell me another way to say we were cracking up without saying we were cracking up. Aunque te digo, cracking up is totally native, but let's go even further. Let's find another way to say it, okay? And let's see. El error ahí. Muchos dicen, I crack up with you. It's not necessary. ¿Sabes por qué? Pones you de sujeto. You crack me up. ¿Ves? Y ya no hay que poner contigo ahí. Ya pones la persona como sujeto. Oh, man, you always crack me up. So there's a little, it's not a mistake, but we simplify it. Sometimes people say, I crack up with you. It's not necessary. You crack me up would be a much more common structure there, okay? So number one. Number two, again, arroba. Let me give it to you in order. Arroba, because it's really important here, the order, and then I know you're saying them correctly. Arroba, guión bajo, punto, and barra. And I think these nowadays are probably just as important, if not more important, than period, comma, exclamation point, right? Because if you don't put the right symbol in there, nobody's going to get your email, right? Or you're not going to go to the right website that you're looking for. And the third one, a totally native idiomatic expression that is pongas como lo pongas. No da igual como lo digas, es así. All right, there you go, my amigos. Again, all of these are coming straight out of my third book. This book is The Milk 2. It is available at Vaughn Tienda, along with other amazing materials. Again, I can vouch for my books because I wrote them, but I can vouch for, apúntate esa palabra, poner la mano en el fuego. A voucher es un vale. So I can vouch for any of the materials in the Vaughn Tienda, any of the courses. Why? Because I know that we know what we're doing. We know our stuff, and we've been doing it for quite a long time. And the most important part is not how long you've been doing it, is do your students get results? And you guys are the proof. Yeah, sois la prueba. If anybody ever says, you don't learn anything with those English things, those English academies, courses, podcasts, whatever, you guys are the proof that, yeah, you do. If you want to, if you work hard, if you put in the time and the effort it requires. So that's what I always tell you guys. Don't take it lightly when I say that. You are our ambassadors. And when people see you not only speaking, English, but speaking English comfortably, speaking English with confidence, that's when you help us out and you say, bueno, ¿conoces a Vaughan? Oh, yeah, Vaughan is really good. You'll learn a lot of English with Vaughn. All right, amigos, let's kick things off with today's Say What soundbite. Say what? All right. Say what soundbite. Come on. Now, I'm always straight with you guys. Straight, frank. It's another way of saying frank. sincere. Speaking of Frank, you've got Frankly Speaking every day with my buddy Chris Frank, where you'll learn some English and be entertained by the musings of Chris Frank. ¿Cómo se dice musings? Mira, voy a aprender en español ahora. The musings. Las reflexiones. Las meditaciones. Yeah, contemplaciones. The musings, como musa, pero musing. Sounds like music, pero es musing. So you can hear the musings of Chris Frank every day here on Frankly Speaking. And don't forget our latest, greatest show, Speaking with Confidence, something we all want to do, even in our own languages. Speaking with Confidence, which is a show with Gretchen, our latest talent. So I know you've done it already. If you haven't, give her a nice warm welcome. Let her know that we're happy she's on board. I got to say something. Since I started working at Vaughn Radio, I always said we need a lot of female voices to balance it out. Because when I came, I think it was just Fernanda. There were Fernanda. Oh, and there was also a woman. She was a woman. She was older than me. Marilyn, I think her name was, and she did a kids show. But I always feel like, back then, and not for any specific reason, then, well, Richard said, I like the way you sound. Okay, let's get you on the radio. But as you can see now, we have a lot more female representation as well. And that's wonderful. This way we hear all different voices. And let's be honest, there's, I like, Kyle's voice, but I'll take Andy's voice any day. Well, I like the female voice. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? And I've always been an advocate, defensor, that we got to get more women here on the air. And thankfully, Rob and the management of late agrees, and they say, yeah, definitely, absolutely. And again, I'm not just saying any woman or any man. We're looking for talented people, but we have lots of talented teachers. And again, guys, the radio, you've got, I don't know how many, 10 shows, let's say. I guarantee probably at least 50 of our teachers, if not more, could do their own radio show, no problem. Okay, with a little bit of direction. Because remember this too, one thing is doing a radio show, and one thing is teaching a class, and then another thing is putting them together into one, right? So that just because you're a good teacher doesn't mean you're necessarily good at broadcasting. It's a different monster. And what we're trying to do, our goal here, is to meld them together. So where you're a broadcaster, but you're also teaching, you're enriching your students as you go. All right, amigos, as always, your Say What soundbite. I want you to listen carefully. And as I said, being totally straight with you, good luck. This one's going to be really tough. All right, here it is for the first time.
An immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend than any other movie so far in 1984. And that is a very, very depressing commentary.
All right. Whoa. I warned you, though. Don't say I didn't warn you, como decimos en inglés. Don't say I didn't warn you. I definitely warned you. All right. Let me give it to you. Give you another second or two to write it down. Make sure you get it down pat. And then I'm going to give it to you again. All right. Is everybody ready? Here's your very tough, difícil, your very tough Say What soundbite for the second time.
An immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend than any other movie so far in 1984. And that is a very, very depressing commentary.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace. Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah. Wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, amigos. It's the shit. This book is the shit. My latest book. A lot of you have it. I know you have it. And I thank you so much for picking up all of my books, whether you have one, whether you have all 5. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's not even the financial part. Believe me. Again, as I always say, if you want to get rich, don't write books. Because or don't be an actor. I mean, anything in the arts. Why? Because if you look at the percentage of people who are writers, who are actors, who are creative types, the percentage of people who are making it, and I don't mean making it like striking it rich, I mean making it like, being successful in that field is very low. I remember that the first day of acting school in interpretación, the teacher says, if you guys think you can make it doing any other thing and you would be happy, do that now. Leave right now. I'm telling you. Think about that. You're paying them to go there. That's the last thing, they're supposed to tell you is leave right now. But they're saying this is, if you think you're going to be the next Tom Cruise, if you think, this is going to be easy, or you think, there's an easier life you can have because you're good at, whatever, well, do that. Trust me. And that was an eye opener, as we say, right? Me abrió los ojos totalmente. And I said, wow, it's true. And she said, well, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of actors just in New York. And how many of them do you think are acting regularly? A very small percentage. And then of those, how many do you think are paying their bills just with acting? And then of that, how many do you think are living in a mansion? Well, then that now we're talking about a really slim percentage. But of course, you as a kid, you see, overnight success. First of all, that doesn't exist. Nobody does it from morning to night. Usually those overnight successes that we read about, they've been at it for 20 years. I think of the example of Carmela from The Sopranos. She played Tony's wife. That's the character's name. The actress is Edie Falco. If you want to read an interesting overnight success story, everyone know her. She became a household name, as we say. Everybody knew her name. Oh, yeah, Edie Falco. Yeah, Edie Falco. Oh, wow. Tremendous actress. Well, do you know she spent all her career, her acting career before that, waiting tables, atendiendo mesas. In fact, a lot of it's funny when in New York, somebody, oh, I'm an actor. Oh, great. What restaurant do you work at? It's true, though. And the reason is very simple. Restaurant jobs, at least in New York, there's a lot of flexibility. And if there are other actors, then you help each other out. Like, hey, I've got an audition. Tengo un casting mañana. Tal, ta, 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 ta. Me puedes cubrir y yo te cubro la semana. And in the blink of an eye, you've got your shift, turno, you've got your shift covered, and you can, and also a lot of the auditions, right? All the auditions, all these kind of things are during the day. So you can wait tables or bartend at night to make ends meet, llegar a fin de mes. Si no te sabes esa expresión, apúntala. Viene en la canción Lady Madonna, children at your feet. Wonder how you manage to make ends meet. Learning from the Beatles. Wow, we've got a lot of people participating. Awesome, folks. Great job. All right, let's take a look then at what we've got. Now, as I said, the audio was from This Book is the Milk 2, but all of our books come with audio. So if you want to learn not just how to read the word, because you won't really necessarily learn that by looking at it. There's no real sense to it, right? It doesn't make sense at all how things are spelt in English. Letras extras que son mudas, esto se pronuncia así, pero así no, así ya cambia. There's no like steadfast rule. Vamos a ver cómo se dice steadfast. Steadfast, firme, okay? The inalterable. Yeah, I remember when we were learning English as young English speakers, the teacher would always say, this is always like this, except this is always like this, except, so everything was a freaking exception. I remember just thinking, so is there anything that doesn't have an exception in English? And the teacher said, I don't know. Maybe with the exception of a few things. I'm like, there you go again. There you go with the exception thing. So English is a language of exceptions, especially when it comes time to read words and pronounce them the way they're read. We never do that. I mean, very, very few times does something look the way it's written. That's why it's so important to listen, right? And say, bomb is así, no es bomb. It's bomb. Okay. And then we do little tricks, don't we? Right? We associate it with different things. Like, for example, the example right there. My mom is the bomb. My mom is the bomb. Real simple. If you remember, and most of you know how to pronounce the word mom, well, then we just put in bomb after it, and they rhyme perfectly. All right? It reminds me of the Rage Against the Machine song. I'm calm like a bomb. O sea, dos letras mudas. I'm calm. It's not calm. I'm calm. Calm. ¿Por qué hay una L? Solo para confundiros un poquitín. I'm calm like a bomb. Es un temazo, by the way. All right, let's take a look at our words in today's pop quiz. The first one was a synonym for crack up, right? I'm cracking up. I'm laughing hard, right? To laugh really hard is to crack up. All right, let's see. We've got to be in stitches. Nice. We were in stitches. He was telling some really funny jokes, and we were in stitches. To be in stitches, you say puntos. Stitches are puntos. So if you're in stitches, it also means, hey, that's a good double trouble. Espera. I'm going to write that one down. Stitches. He got stitches, but for some reason, he was in stitches. Le dieron puntos y por alguna razón se estaba riendo. Maybe it was that laughing gas they give you. Also, to burst out laughing. As we said in the audio, to bust a gut, right? To bust a gut. What about this one? To laugh your ass off. You can also say LM. De hecho, no tienes que decir. You can say LMFAO or LMAO. I laugh my ass off. What about this one? I pissed myself laughing. Me meé de la risa. Okay. Oh, man, you are a pisser. If somebody's a pisser, no significa que es meón, pero que te partes con ellos. Man, you are a pisser. You are a riot. These are very totally native ways of telling somebody they're really funny. Man, we were in stitches. We were pissing ourselves. We were dying laughing. There's another way. Morirse de la risa. You say the same thing. We were dying laughing. And then remember, there are different kinds of laughs, right? You've got a chuckle. A chuckle is when, it's like a reluctant laugh. Reacio, lo sueltas. A cackle. A cackle is how a witch laughs. That's a cackle. Okay, so we've got cackle, chuckle, guffaw. Guffaw is almost like it sounds. Guffaw. It's a big belly laugh, as we could call it. A belly laugh. Giggle is like chuckle, so you can put giggle and chuckle into the same category there. Are you giggling? Are you chuckling? What's so funny? Right? Very different than guffawing or laughing your ass off, right? Giggle and a chuckle is more of like a shorter, less exaggerated laugh. And remember, it's never lauch. It's always laugh. Not lauch, but laugh. So there you go. Excellent job in the first one, amigos. The second one, say them with me. The first one, arroba in English is at. Eso es la preposición at. Acuerda que tiene una A. Maybe that'll help you, ¿no? Ese símbolo. At. Guión bajo, underscore. El guión de arriba? Ooh, is that overscore? No, that's not overscore. Underscore is guión bajo. Dash es el guión normal. Okay, it's a little bit different. No está relacionado tanto en el vocabulario. So you got underscore, then you've got dash. Okay, punto, dot. De hecho, las empresas de tecnología se llaman .coms, right? Las de internet, .coms. And just be careful, though, because I've heard people say doc. It's not doc, it's dot. D-O-T. Que también en Estados Unidos, if you talk about the DOT, you're talking about the Department of Transportation as well. Pero ahí tiene todo mayúsculas, right? So dot. Okay. And remember this too. Here's another thing I always like to teach. If it's .com, .org, that's okay. You don't have to spell it. But for example, if it's .es, muchos americanos no saben ES. So don't say .s. Because if you say .s, ¿sabes lo que voy a poner yo? Punto y una S. So you got to spell it, because I'm telling you now, most Americans don't know it, okay? .es, if your email address ends with that. If it's .com, you can just say .com. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to say www. We all know it, okay? So you don't have to say 3W or W. Es que www es mucha palabra y ya lo sabemos. So you can eliminate that. And barra, slash, like the guitarist of Guns N' Roses. Y la que va hacia el otro lado. You guessed it, backslash. And the last one? Well, we'll take a look at that one. I can't believe it. We'll take a look at it after this quick commercial break. Oh my God, time is really flying today. Folks, we'll be right back, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. I can't believe it. This is part 3. We're halfway through the show? Really? Thank you, amigos. Thank you for making it fly by for me, too. It's incredible. It feels like I just sat down and we're already halfway through the show. And we've got a lot of stuff to cover. In this part, we're going to take a look at our homophones. We've got our Say What soundbite. We got to finish up our pop quiz. And we've got our spelling bee. And then in the fourth and final part of the show, we've got movies, music, double trouble, famous birthdays, and so much more. Lots of stuff to cover, amigos. So I hope you're taking notes, and even more importantly, I hope you are repeating the vocabulary aloud, en voz alta. You want to practice speaking or writing? Well, both, I guess, right? But which one's more important? Well, it depends on your job, but if you can write and you can't speak, that's not good. If you can speak and you can't write, well, thankfully, we've got artificial intelligence. We've got friends. Oh, yeah, mira si esto está escrito bien. And Richard Vaughn said it, our first day of training. He's like, what is the goal here? To speak, to understand and be understood. Later, you can learn to write it. But as you know, here in Spain, the educational system, now it's changed, but before, they were like, you got to know the grammar, you got to know how to read and write. Don't worry about speaking. And you're like, wait, hang on a second. Isn't the speaking part then? I mean, think again, anytime there's a doubt here of, wait, but what's the best way? Well, okay, you speak your language perfectly, right? Without very much effort, and you didn't have to think about it too much. And normally you don't even know the grammar. Well, that's because you're listening and repeating what you hear. So sometimes I think we overcomplicate it. Is it the present perfect or the present perfect? And just say it like you heard it last time and see if that works. and again, it's just really about breeding familiarity. Okay, becoming familiar with the language, all its structures, all the sounds therein, right? Todos los sonidos que vienen del inglés que no están en el español, como el e. You know, it is, it's. Bitch, beach, shit, sheet, right? That I sound is so important. And I know you know how to make it because it's almost like an what are you doing? It's not it's what are you doing? Cambiamos un poco ese sonido de que hacemos aquí en español para decir, hey, que el equivalente en inglés would be, hey, what are you doing? ¿Qué haces? All right, so my amigos, let's see, what are we going to kick off with? Let's kick off with words that tend to mix my students up. In today's Homophones on the Show with No Name. Homophones on the Show with No Name. It's homophones time, because homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the Show with No Name. The Show with No Name. Homophones on the Show with No Name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the Show with No Name. 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 All right, amigos, let's take a look at today's homophones over here. The first one is something somebody uses when they need help walking, okay? Something they use when you say, I believe, bastón. Yep, bastón. Also, it is the same stick, if you think about it, it's the same idea, that is used as punishment in Singapore, for example. So, palmeta o vara. I've heard the word vara, right? But I've never heard, because varita mágica, right? Which is a magic wand. Y de hecho, ¿sabíais algo? Antes de verlo escrito, para mí era varita, como una barra, right? So, hasta que lo vi, digo, what is that varita thing? And como decís la V y la B igual, hay muchas palabras que al verlas escrita. So again, we're going back to what I just said. A lot of these words I knew how to say, And then I learned how to spell them the natural way. Like, ¿qué me sirve saber escribir varita si no sale de mi boca cuando la necesito? Right? So it's bastón, which is a walking stick. It's palmeta o vara, which is a stick that is used as punishment. What else? I'm looking for other meanings of it. Oh, también, claro, caña. No caña like beer, caña de azúcar. And anything else over here? Bueno, luego tiene más significados. Bastón de caramelo. You know, those famous ones during Christmas. All right. So that's your first word. I think it's a word that most of you are at least familiar with. And the second word is the son of Adam and Eve. Anybody here familiar with their biblical references? So let's just put it this way. His brother's name is Abel. ¿Capaz? Yeah, también. Es un homófono. So the brother, I'll tell you what, the brother's name is a homophone. Abel was able to, ¿quién mató a quién? I can't remember. I think this guy killed Abel. So Abel wasn't able to escape death. Si te quedas con eso, ya sabes que Abel es Abel, capaz. Aunque no se escriba igual, pero se pronuncia igual. So Abel wasn't able to escape death, right? And again, these are the kids, the kids of Adam and Eve. You say Adán, we say Adam. Adam and Eve, and we all know about them with the Garden of Eden. I'm getting a little biblical here today. All right, so the first word, we said a walking stick. We said a stick that's used as punishment to hit people. Y también es el verbo, right? He broke the law, so he was, right? They him. So, si añadimos ed, es el verbo pegar con varita, con vara, no con varita, okay? And the second one, you say Caín, if I'm not mistaken. And that's our second word. So that's a proper noun. Obviously, it's capitalized because it's someone's name. All right, amigos, I gave you the homophones. We'll see how you do on that. Also, I'm going to give you our Say What soundbite. I know it's tricky. Sé que es difícil, but somebody's going to get it. Here it is for the third time.
An immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend than any other movie so far in 1984. And that is a very, very depressing commentary.
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
That's right, my amigos. Grupovon.com/cursos destacados. Also, I think the easiest way to know what's going on in the Vaughn world is by following us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, I think X as well, and LinkedIn. Also on YouTube. So if you use any of those social media platforms, make sure you go on over and give us a follow, or if it's YouTube, subscribe, and you can learn English from the comfort of wherever you are, whether it's on the metro, whether you're sitting on your sofa, maybe you're at the pool working on your tan, tu bronceado. All right, let's go on over here. Well, let's finish up our pop quiz, which, by the way, awesome job, everybody. However you slice it or dice it, que era la última, however you slice it or dice it, you guys bring your A game, para usar otra expresión, every day. Venís con todas las papeletas, listos, ¿no? Para todo. You bring your A game every day, however you slice it or dice it. And again, it reminds me of those infomercials. It slices, it dices, it purees, right? Hablando de estos, these miracle kitchen products. And am I the only one, or did you guys do this too? I remember when I was in high school, I would come home and I would watch these infomercials on TV, and they were fascinating. There was a point where I even knew like what each person was going to say. But my favorite part was always the end, when, you know, the host, who, I mean, it was all scripted, but the host was like, okay, Tim, well, you've convinced us. You talked us into it. This is a wonder product. It's amazing. But now the real question, Tim, how much would we have to pay to get one of these in our home? And then the guy would say, well, what if I told you? They always got somebody with a different accent, too, to make it look like it was like intriguing or something. Hey, well, Mike, what if I told you you could take this home for $59.99? And then Mike would say, ooh, no. Audience, $59.99? No, lower. And then it was funny. I used to love that part. And obviously it was scripted. They knew the final price, right? It would come up a minute later on the graphics, right? So then they'd be like, all right, what if I told you could get this for $49.99? And everybody, oh, lower. And then they finally be like, all right, $39.99, but that's my final offer. And I'm going to throw in a free bagel cutter. Y también voy a regalaros un cortador de bagels. So before you know, or they would say, I'm going to give you 3 bottles of it. And you're like, what do I need? Oh, my God. So I don't know. It's a rare form of entertainment, but it is entertainment. I remember I could have watched South Park. I could have watched a lot of different things. I had cable TV when I was a kid, but for some reason, I got hooked on those infomercials. And obviously, I wasn't alone. I'm seeing some of you here in the comments as well, telling me, oh, yeah, I watched them. Well, Damian, too. Damian watched them so much that he ended up developing a section on El Hormiguero based on these kind of commercials. If you've never seen it, check it out. You can go to YouTube and put Teletienda, Hormiguero, or Juan and Damian, Trancas y Barrancas, and really funny stuff, how they imitate it, because it's they're so overstated, they're so exaggerated, and then like when you see it, you're like, this thing really does everything. But they use camera tricks. So you know when they like scratch a car with a screw, cogen un tornillo, and they scratch the car. And then they're like, look, it came off. That's just the camera in reverse. They literally just went back. They put the camera in reverse, the film, so that when you see it, it's totally gone. Yeah, because it hasn't been done yet. We just erased it, but, from existence, not from the car. So they used every trick in the book, I remember. And they used to get hardcore. I remember, okay, Mike, now, let's say I had some spaghetti, some red wine, y empieza a echarle spaghetti, vino tinto, todo a la camiseta. But don't worry, Mike, you would think this is ruined forever. We're going to put it in just a little bit of the solution here, and voila, in 1 second, it was white again. And you were like, something's going on here. But I've got to say something. I don't know how effective it was, because even though I watched infomercials religiously, I never bought one thing. So that's an interesting thing. I guess they get a lot of views, but I wonder if they get a lot of purchases. Si la gente realmente compra o no. And then, as you know, you call it Canal Teletienda. In the United States, we have QVC, which is just a channel where they're selling things every day. QVC. Let me see. I forget what it stands for. QVC channel. QVC. Let's see. QVC's home shop. Quality, value, convenience. So, hey, there's a little bit of homework for you. Why don't you guys take a look at an infomercial in English. And you'll get a kick out of it just, again, because they're overstating everything. And also because, well, I don't know if these products actually work, or at least as they promise they do. So don't get any ideas. Don't start throwing red wine on your favorite shirt. I wouldn't. I believe they used a lot of camera tricks. But man, they were entertaining. Hey, it was really, there was almost like a boom, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then when I got to Spain and I saw La Tienda en Casa, and then I was actually called to do work with them, and I was like, wow, this really works. And then I asked, because I knew some people at the production company, La Productora, and I said, let me ask you something. I said, this was after the second. I came back to do another campaign. So obviously it worked, right? Because I said, bueno, si me han llamado para hacer otra campaña, if they called me to do another campaign here, that means it worked. And my friend said, they sold so many computers, dude. I said, really? He's like, yeah. I'm not saying it was me, okay? But I'm saying that it works. Because I never bought anything, but a lot of people buy stuff. I imagine older people, people who are senior citizens, and but I remember too, some of the claims I was making were like basic things. So I'm like, obviously I'm not selling to a tech savvy person. The target was not somebody who knows a lot. They're like, all right, you want me to print that for you? Well, guess what? I can print it without a cable, without any wires. We call it Wi-Fi, and it's amazing. And we have Bluetooth. Are you serious? Pero no veo ningún cable. So like, it's kind of basic stuff. Or like, ¿quieres que te vean tus nietos? Do you want your grandchildren to see you? Well, guess what? No more bulky webcams. No tienes que tener una cámara web. Esta viene integrada. What? It's built in? Are you serious? Oh my God. So that was, in fact, when we were filming, that was the ongoing joke. Like the other actor, he was just pretending. He's like, so what's this? I'm like, that's a power button. That's to turn it on. But again, it worked. They know what they're doing because they sold a lot of computers, a lot of laptops. All right, great memories of infomercials. But folks, we've got to move on. Let's take a look at our homophones. I see a lot of people are saying that the words sound the same. Do they? All right, well, let me give them to you in a sentence. Cain suffered death by Cain. Cain suffered a horrible death. He was caned. Yes, Cain and Cain. The first one is C-A-N-E, cane, se escribe, and the other one, we spell exactly the same, only we don't say Cain, sino Cain. La A y la I. Piénsalo como pain. Cain was in pain. Excellent job, amigos. Let's move on to today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee.
Yes.
Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, folks, welcome to our Spelling Bee here on the show with no name. And as you know, this is one of the most challenging sections we look at, and not just for you guys, but for any Spanish speaker who is speaking English. This is difficult. And again, it's that A, it's that I, it's that E, it's that J and that G that throw people off. I know it from experience. La que también mucha gente se olvida de la Y. Why? Y mi pregunta siempre es la misma. Why did you forget why? Aha. And you know it from a song, a very popular song. It's fun to stay at the, sing it, YMCA. It's fun to stay at the. All right, folks, this is round one of your spelling bee. This is not for the faint of heart. No es apto para cardíacos. All right, let me get some, there we go. All right. Good luck. As always, these words are related in some way. The first word is Titan. The second one is Oceangate space EXPEDITIONS. The third one, SUBMERSIBLE space IMPLOSION. The fourth one, TITANIC space WRECK. The fifth one, STOCKTON space RUSH. And the last one, NEWFOUNDLAND, comma, space CANADA. All right, there you go, my amigos. That is round one. If you got that, you can give yourself a huge round of applause because I don't think I could get it. And I can guarantee I wouldn't get it pre-coffee. O sea, antes de haberme tomado un café, ni de coña. No way, Jose. So, yeah, it's also it's not just, how fast you are. It's, is your brain on yet? Right? And at least for me, it takes a good 5 or 10. It doesn't take long. But I'll tell you something. When I wake up, my brain is, even the way I walk, I'm clumsy. But in 5 minutes, I'm that guy who needs coffee so much that I prepare it the night before. I have a thermos at my house. So we put the coffee in the thermos, and then you can heat it up. Darle un calentón. You can zap it. No, zap no es hacer zapping como vosotros. We say channel surfing. To zap something in American English es ponerlo en el microondas un segundo. Zzz, dale un chute. Right? Think of it like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do round 2. I'll slow down, but not too much, just a little bit. The first one is TITAN. The second one is OCEANGATE space EXPEDITIONS. The third one, SUBMERSIBLE space IMPLOSION. The fourth one is TITANIC space WRECK. The fifth one, STOCKTON space RUSH. And the sixth and final one in today's spelling bee is NEWFOUNDLAND, comma, space CANADA. And I see a lot of amigos are figuring it out. Wow, you guys are head and shoulders above the rest. You know this expression, right? Un peldaño, head and shoulders. De ahí viene también el nombre del champú, HIS, head and shoulders. It's got the double meaning of estamos un peldaño por encima de los demás. We're head and shoulders above the rest. And also, It originally came out, now they have a lot of different ones for different hair types, but it originally was sold as a dandruff shampoo. Dandruff caspa, you say. And where do you get dandruff? On your head and shoulders, right? Lo ves, si alguien tiene mucha caspa, a veces hasta en los hombros lo ves. It's a brilliant name, I've got to say. I don't think I've ever heard of a better name. Well, also, Pascual Funciona. Remember Biofrutas? They changed it to Funciona. That's a good one too. Pascal works. All right. Hey, what's in a name? As we said before, naming is really, really important. Remember in the audio, we said the Chevy no va. Pues si no va, no lo voy a comprar. Guys, we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Don't forget to stay tuned. You've got Gretchen and her show, Speaking with Confidence. You've got the lunchtime show with Rob and Andy. You've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. The Salad with Dave Boys. Kyle Miller and his program, Drive Time. Frankly Speaking with Chris Frank. Richard Vaughn Live. Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. Work on yourself and your English at the same time. You got the Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. Well, you'll learn the good, the bad, and the shh. You can always get your hot takes. Hot take is another way of saying unpopular opinions with Rob. Hey, it's good. It's good to be able to talk about controversial topics. In fact, it's good to be able to do them and without insulting people, and it takes a special skill that Rob Grams has. You got to be able to talk about everything in life. Well, you never know who you're going to run into. You know? You're looking to have a way with words. To have a way with words es que dominas la palabra. Tienes un don con la palabra. You have a way with words. My mother, for example, has a way with words. She knows what words to use at the right moment and just nails it all the time. Do you have a way with words? All right. I think you say el pico de oro, right? Tiene el pico de oro. I believe you say, right? Pico de oro. Another way to say it too is the gift of gab. To gab is to talk. Los británicos lo emplean con el artículo. So the British people say the gift of the gab, if I'm not mistaken. But in the States, we say you have a way with words or you have the gift of gab. Hey, if you didn't know those, write them down, my amigos, because those are totally native. All right, what have we got lined up? We're going to kick things off with today's double trouble. Yeah. Double trouble, baby. Come on, baby, come on. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. All right, my amigos, here's your double trouble. Now, I'm going to warn you right now. Oof, this one's tough because the first part is an expression and the second one is a totally native vocabulary word, hasta en español. Y mira, esta vez, a lot of times I guess, digo, yo creo que en español se diría así. Y cuando lo busqué, igual. O sea, so sometimes I'm like, let me see, if I had to say this in Spanish, I would say it like this. And this time it was exactly how I would say it. Now, the important thing is not exactly, it's the idea. Well, what does it mean? And we'll take a look at all that. So the first one, quizá es solo flor de un día, pero los críticos van a poner la película a parir. Okay? So, quizá sea flor de un día. Okay, a ver, otra forma de decirlo aquí. Un fiasco, flor de un día. Okay, pura espuma. I like that one. En Argentina se dice pura espuma, que se entiende. Esto es pura espuma, right? Not goma espuma, pura espuma. Como que no hay sustancia, right? I like it. Me gusta. Here it says the idiom means something that is promising, which then disappoints, defrauda. Okay? So, fiasco, flor de un día, si eres argentino, y creo que queda claro, pura espuma, ¿ok? Quizá es solo flor de un día, pero los críticos van a poner la película a parir. Those are your double trouble, well, that is your double trouble challenges. As always, you've got to use the same word twice. And also, while we're thinking that through, pensándolo bien, let me give you your Say What soundbite. Nobody's gotten it yet. I know. I warned you it's tough, but don't worry. We'll clear it up in just a moment. Here it is for the fourth time.
An immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend than any other movie so far in 1984. And that is a very, very depressing commentary.
¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
That's right. It is brilliant. The Oxford Test of English. All right, let's take a look at our spelling bee words. And by the way, excellent job in our spelling bee, amigos. Now, today it's linked to something in modern history. Modern history, I mean 2023. So just a couple years ago, Titan, you say Titan, we say Titan. De hecho, como la Clash of the Titans, right? Los Titanes, el choque de los Titanes, what do you call it? We say Clash of the Titans. O sea, misma palabra, pero pronunciado de otra forma. Titan, Titan. So what is Titan? Well, Titan was a submersible that was operated by Ocean Gate Expeditions. So, la primera palabra era Titan, the name of the vessel. Number two, the company that operated it, Ocean Gate Expeditions. Number three, what happened? It was a submersible implosion. Now you know what I'm talking about. Remember that? They went down to try and discover the wreck of the Titanic. Eso era número cuatro. Titanic. I know you say Titanic. We say Titanic. Lo mismo que Titan. Titanic. Hombre, de ahí viene, ¿no? So the Titanic wreck. Esos los restos del Titanic. And number five was Stockton Rush. Stockton Rush was the owner of the company, and he was heavily criticized. Well, now he's dead, but he was heavily criticized for kind of doing a makeshift submersible. This is a great word, makeshift chapuza, right? In fact, he was bragging days before, like, oh, I can control this thing with a, what was it? A PlayStation remote. It's like, yeah, okay, but do you know the pressure under there? Like, if anything goes, like, this is not child's play. People's lives are in the balance here. And, well, we all know how this ended, right? And it was near Newfoundland, Canada. Some people say Newfoundland, and some people say Newfoundland. Newfoundland. Pero nunca es Newfoundland, que es lo que es, ¿no? Tierra recién encontrada, descubierta. Think about where that name comes from. Pero nadie dice Newfoundland. It's Newfoundland or Newfoundland, dependiendo, porque there are Newfoundlands in the United States. There's Newfoundland. So it also depends on the locals. But since there are many places, it's not just in Canada. I remember close to where I grew up, there was a town called Newfoundland. It wasn't Newfoundland. It was Newfoundland. And it wasn't Newfoundland, pero de ahí viene. All right. So just so you know, a lot of those things, again, are not pronounced the way they're written. So do you guys remember that? 5 people were killed on board. You could hear the audio of the implosion. And yeah, that's what happens. I mean, you don't want to listen. You want to take some shortcuts with, all right, well, I'm going to buy these razors because they're on sale, but, I know they're not as good. I'll be careful, para afeitar, fine. But like certain places, you don't want to cut corners, especially when, cutting corners can involve death, right? And we all know, again, how that ended. The Titan imploded underwater, and, well, I don't think... The good thing, I would imagine, the people under there died in less than a second. Like you don't have time to, it implodes with all that pressure and the quick change in pressure, and then the fact that you're under the ocean. They didn't have a fighting chance. So a sad day, and also a lesson. And the lesson here is always the same: don't fuck with Mother Nature. When are we going to learn? Those guys who go to Everest and they're like, I'm stronger than the mountain. Bullshit. Oh, I can face the storm. Yeah, really? Okay, fine. Good luck with that. So I guess some risks you're willing to take, but think about it. These people are like thinking, we're going to see the Titanic, and they put their trust in this company and Ocean Gate Expeditions, and they never survived to tell the tale. So, and the company is still around, by the way. It's the company still exists, even though it had this terrible accident. Now, if it were me and I were in legislation or worked in the government, I would take away their operating license right there and say, you guys have proved that you don't know how to safely do your job. And as we say in English, safety first. La seguridad ante todo. Safety first. It's used as a slogan, in many companies. I know my friend who worked at General Electric. He goes, safety first, safety first. I mean, they ingrained it, lo inculcaron en su cabeza. Because sure, you're working with a huge, engine, and things can go wrong. Things can go terribly wrong, as we saw with Titan. All right, let's take a look at today's Double Trouble. Give it up for your show with no namers. This was a tough one. Maybe it's just a flash in the pan. That's right. The expression a flash in the pan, something that just no dio la talla como tenía que hacerlo. So maybe it was just a flash in the pan. But critics are going to pan that movie. And to pan is to destroy. Ponerlo a parir. Critics panned the movie. It was panned by critics. Y ya que estamos hablando de pan, ¿cómo se dice mover la cámara a la izquierda? Mover la cámara a la derecha. Pan left. Pan right. So that word pan, aside from Peter Pan y sartén, also has many other meanings. So the correct answer was maybe it's just a flash in the pan. But critics are going to pan that movie. And speaking of movies, you know what time it is. Name that movie. All right, amigos, I think this is going to be an easy one. We'll see right now. Here we go. A selfish, egoísta, a selfish, cynical, ¿te suena cynical, cínico? Cynical television executive is haunted, perseguido, encantado, is haunted by three spirits, bearing lessons, trayendo lecciones, on Christmas Eve. I know you know the story, but remember, the important part here is it's a television executive, not an accountant, because the story is a classic story. It's just a modern adaptation, or it was a modern adaptation. So a selfish, cynical television executive is haunted by three spirits bearing lessons on Christmas Eve. All right. Did you get it? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not Scrooge, the original Scrooge, or as we call it, it's called A Christmas Carol, un villancico. It's Scrooged, con Ede, starring Bill Murray. Directed by Richard Donner. You recognize him, The Goonies? Oh, yeah, that's right. So Scrooged with Bill Murray. You say Bill Murray. We say Bill Murray. And what a great movie it is. Now, speaking of Bill Murray and Richard Donner, they did not get along. They were clashing, para usar Clash of the Titans, y los dos son titanes. So there was a clash of the Titans, if you will, para unirlo con lo otro. And there was a lot of tension on the set. And in fact, in an interview, there's a very famous film critic, well, there was, he passed away, named Ebert, Roger Ebert. In fact, there was a team, Siskel and Ebert, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. They were kind of the most famous movie critics ever in the United States. They made being a movie critic cool, basically. And they were good. They were good at their job. So there was an interview, and Roger Ebert asked Bill Murray if he had any disagreements with the director, Richard Donner. And he replied, and I quote, "Only a few, every single minute of the day. That could have been a really, really, really great movie. The script was so good. And there's maybe one take in the final cut of the movie that is mine. We made it so fast, it was like doing a movie live. He kept telling me to do things louder, louder, louder. I think he was deaf." So there you go. They did not get along. They butted heads, chocar cabezas. Let's take a look at the scene. The ghost of Christmas Past says, "You left Claire for Frisbee the dog. Dejaste a Claire, tu amor, por un programa de televisión de niños, for Frisbee the dog." Remember, he's a television executive. He says, "Frank, let me sum this up for you. Te lo voy a resumir, Frank. You don't know who you are. No sabes quién eres. You don't know what you want. And you don't know what the hell is going on. Y no sabes qué demonios ocurre. And Frank says, I've made a few mistakes. I've got to live with that. Tengo que vivir con eso. But I do know who I am. I know what I want, and I know what's going on. And the ghost of Christmas past says, hey, Frank, up here. He disappears into the rafters, the ceiling of the studio. And he goes, up here. And Frank says, what's going on? Enseñándole, you don't know what's going on. And the ghost of Christmas past says, how should I know? ¿Cómo voy a saber yo eso? I'm just the ghost. And then he says, so long, sucker. So long is another way of saying hasta luego. And sucker is mamón, pringao. So long, sucker. Se dice mucho ese collocation. All right, the movie was Scrooged. Excellent job. Are you ready for some jokes? Let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking.
That's right, amigos. You're joking. Only on the show with no name. Let's see. These are movie-related jokes today, since we're talking a little bit about movies and pan left and pan right and to pan it. Have you ever heard about the movie called Constipation? Oh, yeah. Well, it never came out. Estreñimiento. Constipation. Nunca salió. All right. You'll love this next one. I made a movie about farm life. Did I tell you guys this? Yeah. I made a movie about farm life, but the film quality was too grainy and the plot was very corny. No? Grain, corn? Well, grain is cereal and corn is maíz, but grainy also means like the texture of the video. Grainy, granoso, granular, right? It's kind of fuzzy. You can't see it very well. And corny is cursi. So it was a little bit grainy and corny. Grain and corn, agricultura. All right. All right. And the last one. What are truck drivers' favorite parts of the movie? So what is a truck driver's favorite part of the movie? Easy. The trailers. The trailers? Well, a truck driver has a truck, and usually there's a trailer connected with all the merchandise, the goods. The trailer is the back, the part that trails behind the truck. Y de hecho, de ahí viene la palabra trailer. Pero me dices, ¿pero cómo? Si viene delante. Well, back in the day, before they realized, si no las pones al principio, nadie las va a ver, you would get the trailers. The trailers would trail the movie. Eran al final. Now they're at the beginning, but we haven't changed the name. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed those jokes. It's time for famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. We've got to fly through our famous birthdays today. Number one, she was born in 1952, an American actress who gained recognition in films such as Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino, Annie Hall, directed by Woody Allen, The Princess Bride, La Princesa Prometida, I think you say, Scrooged. Hey, wait, we just looked at Scrooged. All right, number two, this guy is a bass player, and he is, I was going to say, well, he is, there are two living Beatles. Well, he's one of them, and he plays the bass. And there's a rumor that he died, and I saw him in concert this year, and he, along with John Lennon, ahora sí que lo vas a saber, wrote most of the Beatles songs. And last but not least, an American movie critic who I mentioned before. Like one of the most famous movie critics to ever walk the planet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our famous birthdays today are Carol Kane. Y ese Kane no está escrito como Caín ni como bastón. Ese es K-A-N-E. Carol Kane. Pero se pronuncia igual que los homófonos. Number 2, Paul McCartney. Sir Paul McCartney. And number 3, movie critic Roger Ebert. That's right. If you want to watch them, very interesting to watch movie critiques. The person is the critic. The critique is lo que dice. And it's cool because you'll learn a lot of vocabulary, just like in today's Say What soundbite. This is Roger Ebert reviewing Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Okay? Friday, the horror movie. And he says, an immoral and reprehensible piece of trash. Yeah, es lo que dice de la película. Una bazofia, una basura. An immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend than any other movie so far in 1984. And that is a very, very depressing commentary. Here he is, legendary movie critic Roger Ebert.
An immoral and reprehensible piece of trash that sold more tickets on its opening weekend than any other movie so far in 1984. And that is a very, very depressing commentary.
All right, amigos. What can I say? What a wonderful job you've done. As always, you make me proud. The good news is this show is done. We are done for the day, but your English learning is not, because we've got amazing programs all afternoon long. So I urge you to stay tuned here to Vaughn Radio. And today's song that we're going to sing together, I hope, because I think you know it. I think everybody knows it. That's right, it's Let It Be. Y si quieres poner la letra de mi mujer, whisper words of Christmas. It's not whisper words of Christmas. It's speaking words of wisdom. But I like my wife's version. Let It Be. What a beautiful song by the one and only Paul McCartney and the Beatles. Thank you so much, everybody, and let's sing it together. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
I know you know it.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.